Hello, Roxanne. How are you?
Oh, I'm very good. How are you doing?
Good, good, all well. Thank you so much for being on my show back again. You had been high on my mind to be discussing beauty and self-care and wellness for a long time, and thank you so much for accepting my invite to be back again.
It's my pleasure. I enjoyed our first conversation, so I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, definitely. So, Roxanne, before I start communicating with you, I would just want to introduce you to our audience and then we'll take on from there. So, Roxanne has been a model since she was three. She is now in her 60s and has seen the peak of modeling world with international assignments. She has been on the cover of French, German, Greek, and Italian Vogue magazine. She has showed up in German's Harper's Bazaar, La Official, many other covers of the fashion magazines for more than 50 years now. So Roxanne is also a well-being coach from Deepak Chopra Institute. She owns a successful coaching business which builds teenagers and women's self-esteem through modeling, movement, mindset, diet, exercise, and self-image. Roxanne is also the author of More Than Just a Pretty Face, where she shares all aspects of aging gracefully. At 66, Roxanne is leading by example that true beauty only reveals itself with age. She has learned the art of aging gracefully and has gained immense wisdom on aspects of inner and outer beauty. And she's also a yoga practitioner and an ardent practitioner of ancient self-care practices. So on this podcast now, Roxanne, we intend to get all out of you.
All right,
Great.
let's dig in.
Perfect. So, okay, let's, basic question first. So, being a model for more than 50 years now, how has life been different for you from the other females, especially in the space of beauty, self-care, wellness? Because in your space, you have to be really particular about yourself. So, how has life treated you in last 50 years?
I can't relate to everyone's experience but my own.
Mm-hmm.
And being a model, I must admit, there is a focus on self-discipline to always be ready for the next modeling job.
Yeah.
So even when I'm not working or in front of the camera, over all these years, I needed to be as if I was going to be on camera, meaning I needed to make sure I got enough rest, my diet was good, my hair and nails were in the best shape, the skin was always, cared for. So it was, this is where it might be relatable to many women because I think as women, we want to take care of ourselves continually through life. As a model, though, I might have taken it to the nth degree where every day was a focus on, is this the right choice? In case I get a call and I have to hit the plane tomorrow and be in front of the camera, you don't have the luxury to have a day off or so. That was when I was modeling quite a lot and jet setting quite a lot. I don't model as much these days, but what I gleaned from all of that was the discipline. So, your habits today make you who you are tomorrow. So, because I was so focused on being in the ready phase, at being the best model I could be, and always trying to make the right choices every day, and now that's just who I have become. And I can see that it has the benefit has been having a lot of energy at this age, enjoying being physical with my yoga, my workouts, my walks. So there's a lot of benefits, which might seem at first to be difficult to always say, all right, I have to go work out. I need to eat I have to get sleep. It turns from I have to I want to.
Yeah. So coming to a deeper question, I'll talk of like from the perspective of any common girl, and you being in a space of modeling, there are common health concerns that keep coming up. Like for example, when you're traveling, digestive issues are something that are definitely going to happen. And it's going to happen to everybody. When it is about skin, when you have that important event, some acne might pop up out of the blue from anywhere, and you don't know why it's happening. So I'm sure such kind of concerns you must have also experienced. What has been your what's your take on that specific way of taking care of yourself, that either these conditions don't happen to you, or even if they happen to you, your quick fixes to be able to deal with it since your industry demands that out of you?
Oh, good question. Um, with age, there comes a patience and a deeper understanding about your body. So even though you might think I've got it all together, you travel and your whole digestive system still
Absolutely.
might go out of whack. So that's where you just become patient with yourself. If you stress, it just exacerbates the problem and you're not healing as quickly as you might. So let's say you do have digestive problems, you can't eat the food, you feel uncomfortable. That's a really good time to be gentle, soften, and accept that that's what your body is doing. It's signaling to you you're too stressed. So that's
Mhm.
when you backpedal and you might do breathing exercises or sit in the child's pose to just rest, maybe take a nap if possible, but to not fret and think, oh, what can I do? Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely. I'm relating to what you're saying. And I think most of us know the solution, but I think that's where the difference lies. When it is about discipline, you actually do that rather than just thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, with age, you realize my time is important. How can I
Yeah.
get to the end results quicker? Oh, I'm going to have to do this. And
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Perfect. So if I may ask, like, the way you've been able to maintain yourself over years, especially being in a very stressful industry, stressful profession that demands to be perfect all the time, what kind of a diet and lifestyle you've maintained over years, or if I may go a little deeper, how does your mornings look like? Because I am a strong believer in how you start your mornings. That sets the tone of the day, and you're quite able to sail through the day if you start right.
Oh, gosh, we agree completely, you and I, on that. How you start your day is so important. But to
Absolutely.
answer the first part of your question, the
Hmm.
what came to mind when you were asking me is the simplification of diet. I find the more simple the diet, the better. The more in alignment with my body, the better. And that's going to take some searching for the viewers, for the listeners who might think, well, what do you mean? What's the best for my body? This is where
Yeah.
you need to uh, find someone or information about your body type, your needs. You need to be a sleuth to find out, you know, how you can nourish your own body for your particular type of body. I'm sure
So
you
just, just,
know.
just, just, I'm sorry I'm interrupting you there, but I just want to go a little deeper here. So when you say finding out your own body type, are you referring it from the modern perspective, like what are your requirements for proteins, carbs, and various other food groups, or is it more from the ancient perspective, like how Ayurveda and yoga puts it across, like what kind of energy body type you are? Like, are you more air type, more fire type, or more earth type, and then adjusting your diet according to that so you keep that balance in. So what has been your approach to that?
That's a brilliant perspective to shine a light on. I mean,
Mhm.
all of it. There is
Okay.
so much to learn, so much information that is available. And this is where we need to be responsible for ourselves to find out what resonates. Perhaps it is the ancient Ayurvedic doshas. What is your body type? What food feels the best to ingest? Or maybe it is being more scientific. I need this many carbs, I need this many
Yeah.
calories for my activity. So it's yes to all of it. And I find for myself personally that searching for these different answers or different modalities has been very helpful over my lifetime. And now I can pick and choose. And it's so
I
fascinating.
completely resonate with that. I completely resonate with that.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I have been on raw food diet, macrobiotic diet, Ayurveda principles, a modern way of filling up the deficiencies, being onto supplementation for the gaps that are filling in. So, as and when things happen to you, you keep switching between what's right for you at what point in time.
Yes, and as women, we have different phases. You know, as an adolescent, you're building. You need a lot of calories, and then as say you're a woman who becomes pregnant, you need more calories, and then through
Absolutely.
menopause, you just need something more gentle. So we life is about change, as we all know that famous expression: the most constant in life is change. So
Absolutely.
it is I just want to underscore the point of each woman being responsible for her own health by searching, asking, reading, you know, ruminating, trying, seeing how her body reacts to it. And that was my own experience. That's what I have done, just like you, many different diets. And you start to listen to your body. What feels the best
Exactly.
for me right now? Yeah.
Actually, just to kind of again go back a few years in your life, because this is also one of the important topics that I keep talking about and creating some awareness around, which is about hormonal health, especially during perimenopausal and menopausal years. And I'm sure nobody better than you understands, being again in the same kind of industry, how during those years your skin starts to change, your hair quality or hair just it's out of control, your weight is out of control, you're doing the best of what you can, but still it takes a lot of effort for a female to maintain herself, especially in starting late 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond. So how have you been able to sail through those perimenopausal and menopausal years, still making sure that your body is what it is, which is good for your professional needs, your skin is what it is, and your hair is what it is.
Mm. There have been some many challenging phases in my life, like you mentioned, the hair and the skin and the weight, and you think, "Oh my gosh, who am I? What is this
I
body
know.
I'm in? I don't
I know.
recognize it."
Uh,
And it's scary because what used to work doesn't anymore. And you know,
Actually,
for me, I thought, is this going to be it? Is this it forever? Is my hair only going to get more thin? And all these worries. And
yes.
what actually, helped the most was, believe it or not, meditation.
Amazing. I'm glad you brought up that topic. I'm really, glad you brought up that topic because, again, we're talking of meditation, but it's so deeply rooted to your nervous system, and nervous system's regulating everything else in the body, your hormones and everything. But I believe it's a slow process, right? It has to be something that you have to be consistent with, believe in it, and feel the effects of it on consciously on a daily basis. So, what are your tips for a female going through these years and still trying to navigate through the aspects of meditation and how it can help her and make it a part of a regular practice?
Yeah. I've heard many people say, I don't know how, like I'm sure you've heard, I don't know how to meditate. I can't do
Absolutely.
it. It doesn't work. There's a lot of egoic conversations that go on in your mind that stops
Yeah.
you from trying. That's fine. That's understandable. Our society is very um, pressed, fast forward, always going, and it's really hard to get off that wheel of feeling like you have to tackle everything on your to-do list, or else you're a failure, or I can't sleep. I don't have time to sleep. I have too much to do. It. So there's this noise that's really hard to get away from. And so, what I might suggest for someone who knows that meditation or has heard meditation is beneficial but thinks it's not for them
Mhm.
is um, kind of play this game in your mind where you're not labeling it meditation, but you're going to say, all right, I'm just going to see what feels in my body right now. Um, like just
Is it
shift
like
your.
a is that like a witness approach? You just be try to be an outsider and just observe yourself from like an outer perspective?
That's helpful too. I'm talking more internal, where you turn your internal eye in and you do a scan and you just connect with your body as if your body is its own consciousness entity, and it's
Mhm.
trying to communicate with you. Like, what is it saying? Like right now, oh my goodness, I noticed my stomach is tight, or oh, just by doing that, my shoulder relaxed.
Yeah.
It's so your mind is still active. It's not like you're trying to empty your mind in
Yeah.
meditation, but your mind is more becoming aware of what your body is saying to you, because your body has so much intelligence, and it is constantly trying to come back to an equilibrium, a homeostasis, a healthy point. And
True.
we really need to honor it and listen to it. And I think that if you practice it this way, this meditation this way, by listening to your body, it ultimately it will quiet your mind. So
So I love that point because I mean I'm something else going on in my mind with what you're saying. So when I was doing my yoga teachers training, our teachers used to say, and we know that your energy flows where intention goes. So when you take your focus on specific part, consciously or subconsciously, or you may not even realize, you might just ending up relaxing that area just by taking your focus there because your energy starts flowing in that area. So even if you're not doing things consciously, subconsciously things are still working because of that body intelligence.
yes, yes, that's it.
But
And you
that's a beautiful point. That's a beautiful point.
Yeah, I'm a big supporter of meditation like you are. I mean, the benefits have been tremendous, but you made a good point that you need to be consistent. This
Yeah.
start and stop won't get you the results. You know, our body needs time to heal, and
True.
consistency is key. Um, you had asked me earlier about my morning routine.
I
Can
was coming back to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
you were too.
Yeah.
What is
We
it
will
like?
try discussing everything for sure. It's on the back of my mind. Well, what is it that keeps you ageless?
Okay. Shall we jump back to that, or did you want to continue?
Definitely, yes, for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, I wanted to also talk about that because it does, like you mentioned, set your day for in a good tone, and
Yeah.
it has changed for me. Like if I model, and I had to get up early and jump right out of bed, there wouldn't be the time so much. So for what I do now, but I
Hmm.
would still have this like a mantra that I would say, and it would
Yeah.
be 3 lines, and I would say it before I raised my head off the pillow, and that would set me right, which is incredible.
Yeah.
I guess because you're still in that beta state where you're just so relaxed and it just sinks in.
Just one another, because what you're saying, it again takes me back to my yoga learnings.
Yes.
Another concept I remember here is recently I was reading some article which was in the morning when you just as you wake up, but you're still not back to your senses, just a sense of waking up. Your subconscious mind is active at that specific point in time. So that time is crucial for you to feed whatever stuff you want to feed in your mind, and then it kind of functions on its own. It's like your body intelligence automatically making you do things that you feed in the morning during that specific time. So just as you open your eyes but still not into the world, that's the time when you're directly feeding things to your subconscious rather than going through the process of the body to take it back to your subconscious conscious, like through the day. So I believe that's where focus on affirmations in yoga philosophy is very high. I mean, the terminology is different, but it's more about affirmations.
It's a very special time. You're right.
Yeah.
And I have now started to wake up naturally. Don't ask me why this is happening, but
Mhm.
at 4 in the morning. And at first I thought it was a fluke, but now it's regularly, like 6 days a week. So I don't fight it. I don't fret. I don't
Do you
punch.
know? Do you know there's an understanding in Ayurveda, and especially in India. It's a known fact that with age, your sleep automatically goes down, and it's not something which has to be seen from like a perspective that something's wrong with you. It's a natural process. With aging, your sleep hours definitely go down, and possibly like if I go back and realize what our ancestors used to do back in India, that was the time they used to meditate a lot. Like I remember my grandfather, he used to wake up at 3:34, and for next 2 hours he was just into that meditation nonstop, sitting at a place and just meditating. So, and it's very highly ingrained in the Indian culture. So as you just mentioned, like you just feel like waking up at 4 in the morning, and it's natural. I think it's a natural process of the body. Nothing as such wrong with your health or something.
Well, I do use that time. It's a precious time. It's like no one else is awake, and it's like the world is mine, and and so
Yes.
I do wake up and I do meditate, and it is so profound. It's easier to get into the meditative state because I have been sleeping, so my body is relaxed, and
Mhm.
my mind is this empty vessel, and it is just amazing how that silence and stillness outside my window is allowing whatever to
Expansiveness of your mind.
the what?
Expansiveness,
Yes,
expansiveness
expansiveness in my
expansiveness of
mind.
your thought and mind. Yeah,
Expansiveness, the downloads, the visions, the impressions, the upliftment, the peace. It feels so, it's like a massage for my brain. But talk about setting my day right. It
yeah.
is tremendous.
And that's how, if again I go back to the traditional understanding or the Ayurveda or even the Vedic understanding of things, that's how it is. Like we as human beings are human beings because we're supposed to be being, not
Yes.
doing,
I love that expression.
entity.
We're
Yeah,
not
so
human
that's what my
doers.
yoga teacher keeps always telling us, like we've become human doings and we are not anymore human beings. But having said that, like if you go back and try to realize these traditional teachings of yoga and Ayurveda, they say that they have been downloaded like a software, just clicking to the minds of these sages being in a state of deep meditative state. It's not something that has been created by humans or researched upon to prove that, okay, this is how it works and there are protocols on that. There's no explanation, but these things have been uh, realized to be, just coming to people rather than the thinking about it in a state of being and not in a state of doing.
Incredible. It's incredible.
Yes. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, and I think we just need to align with that energy. That's all we need to do and rest. That's what is law of attraction is. That's all.
It does sound so simple, doesn't it? And it actually
Yeah.
is. The most powerful
Absolutely.
truths and
Yes.
laws are the most simple, and
Exactly.
I
But I sometimes feel simplicity is complicated in today's times for sure.
yeah,
It is.
yeah, it is. It can be. And being older allows you to simplify. Maybe because I don't have as many responsibilities, with my children and their
Yeah.
schedule and making dinners and lunches, all of that. So um,
Yeah.
I feel very blessed to be able to dive into this spring well of energy with a quiet mind.
Yeah.
But at 4 in the morning, it's very quiet for everybody.
Yes. So, okay, your day starts at 4 with the meditation. Let's move on. Like, what are your self-care practices in the morning?
Yes.
How do you think of your diet and the kind of foods that you choose for the day? Is it regular or is it based on what you think your body needs that specific day? What are your food choices, your skincare? Let's talk about that.
Okay, when I first get out of bed, the 1 minute when I'm out of the bed is very important for uh, releasing fascia. The
Hmm.
fascia is the fiber around the
Yeah.
muscle that holds us together. And with gravity or without movement, it can get very binding around the muscles.
Yes. And
So,
I'm glad you brought in that topic again
oh, good.
because the entire focus of the world has been muscles for so long. It's just now that we started to focus on fascia.
Yes. So, this 1 minute of moving the body when you first wake up is so beneficial to the fascia that it helps you not only have muscle repair, but keep the muscles um, flexible, and it keeps the fascia more like a gel consistency because without
Hmm.
stretching the fascia, it becomes fibrous like a taut
Yeah.
rope. So we want it gentle. You ask any body worker and they'll say, yeah, when I work the fascia enough, it becomes like a gel. So
Hmm.
first minute, if you I watch the second hand on my clock, and
Okay.
it goes so quickly. I'll just like roll on my toes and then circle my knees, circle my hips, and
Hmm.
bend side to side with my arms
Simple
overhead.
stretches.
Gentle stretches. And it
Hmm.
feels so good. That 1 minute definitely isn't long enough, and
Yeah.
I'll do it for longer. But it
Hmm.
feels limbering. It feels like a wonderful waking up of the body without it being laborious, or you don't need special
Absolutely.
outfit or a mat. You just, greet the day with a beautiful stretch.
Yeah.
And
And that makes so much of a difference to your mind energy as well, I believe. Like, and that reminds me, I just did a post on Instagram today, which was more about how digestion is more energetic than mechanical. which is the use of muscles, the use of that energy in the body, moving on different parts of the body, which activates your body. So when we for most of us, when we wake up in the morning, we hardly think of activating or preparing our body for the day. The whole idea is, okay, wake up, have a shower, have your breakfast, and get back to work. And
Right.
which is such a, we don't realize how it completely plays around with our moods, with the way our experience of the day goes.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does. Um, and it feels so delicious to be that gentle on your body in the morning
True.
instead of quickly waking up and looking at your phone and grabbing coffee and hurry.
Yeah.
It does set your day uh, in a beautiful way. Not like you're too dreamy for the day. You're just
Yeah.
more balanced and in a way stronger by being
Yeah.
softer. So,
I get what you say. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Food, I suppose, I will start gentle with tea in the morning. I love to have tea and go outside and watch the sunrise and hear,
Mhm.
especially this time of year, the birds sing. That just feeds my soul. And then I have basically the same kind of breakfast. It's easy and it's so delicious. I love it. I'll have, shall I tell you what it is?
Yeah, definitely. We would love to know that.
It's jasmine rice topped with um, um, baked apples or yeah, chunks of cooked apple with cinnamon, and then a blob of coconut milk or coconut cream and cinnamon. And sometimes I'll top it with slivered almonds. And oh my gosh, my stomach is humming after I eat it in the morning. It's like, oh my gosh, I want a second
Uh,
bowl, but maybe it's
Any
too.
specific reason that you consume jasmine rice? I mean, that's a curious question because, coming from a space of macrobiotics, that's something when it is about rice, I become curious. Why? Because brown rice is very high in that specific way of eating. So, any
Yeah,
specific reason you are more on jasmine rice?
definitely. My food choices are very deliberate.
Mhm.
Brown rice is too rough to digest.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, of
why.
course. I mean, you need a strong digestion to do that. Like in the family of refined rices, like the lot of varieties available. I mean, there's basmati rice. There's a lot of varieties. Jasmine. So, what is it that's special about jasmine rice? Or it's more like your personal choice. Like you like it and then you include it.
I did a I did a sensitivity test, and that was the one rice that my
Oh,
body was able to digest
okay.
and accept. And fortunately, I like it very much. I actually prefer it to the brown rice, which I have eaten for many years, decades, thinking it was better for me, when in
Hmm.
actuality, for my particular body type and digestive system, it wasn't doing me the benefit that I thought it was. So I highly recommend getting tested if you find you have some kind of issue that or bloating or you just don't feel right. Or for me, it was skin issues, and I tried so many things to try to get my skin healthy.
Hmm.
And I uh, am now starting the third month of an elimination diet,
Oh, that's amazing.
and my skin has never been better. I mean, clear. It always had the tendency to have a rash,
Hmm.
flaky, red,
Hmm.
itchy, and it's been like that for years. And my issue was that I never stayed with the diet long enough. I always thought,
Mm.
5 days, I don't see any results. If it's not the food, I can
Okay.
go back to eat what I want. But I must
Okay.
tell you that the body needs time to heal. It is an intelligent organism that wants to heal, but we as humans need to give it the time.
Do I
So
talk the science? Do I talk about the science behind it?
please,
So,
please.
okay, so I learned that as a part of my macrobiotic, studies. So the idea is it takes about 3 to 4 months for your acidic blood to become alkaline, and it's scientifically proven, it's research proven that within 3 months your older red blood cells die off and the new red blood cells are reformed, and your state of skin, your state of hair, your state of nails, your body is an outcome of a strong blood condition. So if you're able to make your blood condition strong, which is more on the alkaline side, it's all going to show up on your skin, hair, body, everywhere. And that's that's a process of 3 months, at least 3 months, because your red blood cells have the cycle of 3 months. Older blood cells die off, they get washed off out of the body, and the new ones that build up are much more stronger. So that's why it's like 3 to 4 months.
Thank
Within
you.
those 3 to 4 months, you see drastic changes on your skin, hair, and body when you get onto that elimination diet and bringing in the right stuff.
That is such good information to know. I wish I had known that when I first tried the diet change. I did not know that,
Mhm.
and thank you for that. It's
No problem,
true.
my pleasure.
Different cells have different lifespans, so
Yes.
I did not know
So it's
that.
like cyclically they keep changing. So it's like for each cell, it's a cycle of 3 months. So one builds up, the other one dies off. And by the end of 3 months, your blood quality completely starts to transform only if you have that, alkaline building foods in your blood. So
It
you
is
must be
so
spending at least 3 months on that. So coming back to your own, understanding that you have to stay with a certain kind of a diet to give you the results for the same reason, because ultimately it's all chemical. The foods are converting into chemicals and then, impacting everywhere in the body. So, yeah.
Yes, and it is so effective, and I don't wanna go back to, I mean, I'm sure that I'm stronger now and I can eat whatever I want, but I really like the simplicity. I like how quick meal preparation is. I don't find
Yes.
it repetitive because there's enough that I can find variety. I don't crave the spices or the variety. My system is so humming with this simple diet that there's no need for me to ever want to go back. And I really like how fast it is to prepare the meal. I don't have to overthink it. I just know what I'm going to have.
Actually, it's
Yeah.
much easier. I mean, initially it seems like a task, but the more you do it, you realize it's much more simpler than what you had been doing.
Oh, exactly. It was hard. The first few weeks were so hard. I
Yeah.
went through feeling like, oh, this is easy. I can do this the first week. And the
Mhm.
second week, I'm thinking, this is so boring and monotonous. And the third week, I was thinking, how can I make some variety? This is not easy. And the fourth week, I got it. I said, this is
It
street.
takes that much of a time, believe me. I go through that all the time with my diet consults. Like I had a recent diet consult. She had these very severe cystic acne on her face and, pus-filled acne. For like 20 years, she had been on medications, hormonal pills, and all of that. And within 7 to 10 days of just putting her on elimination diet, cleaning off all her skincare products, which were aggravating the problem, 7 to 10 days going clean, and her skin started to show drastic results. That's at least the pus came down within 3 months. Today, her skin is completely clear now without any medications. For 20 years, she had been doing ruining her liver like anything with all those medications. So we stopped all of that. But it took a lot of energy for me to kind of convince her, okay, let's stop it, let's stop it, let's stop it. And gradually she, agreed to, and then slowly, gradually we see the results now. And the good part is the acne is not coming back.
I'm
It's
glad you
it's
brought
just
up that
with the
story.
body.
I had to change my skincare as well, and what I put externally on my body as well, because it gets absorbed
Absolutely.
through the skin
Absolutely.
and into the organs, into the blood. And I simplified not only my diet, but my skincare, my hair care. Okay. So you know it's
And we
working.
would want to know that. Yes, please.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna love this, Dipti.
Oh,
My
yes, please tell me.
skin thrives with coconut oil, almond oil, and sesame oil on my
Yeah.
skin, on my hair. I can't overdo it. I live in a
Hmm.
very dry climate, so I apply many times a day. Um, and if I don't, I'll notice that it is suffering. So I need to nourish it, and it just feels so good. And it gives it a glow that is so wonderful. And it's,
That's such a nice tip. Because I mean, the temperatures in India are, it's. I mean, there's some kind of a moisture definitely, so you don't feel that dryness back in India. But when I moved to Canada, it was like all dry and rough, that kind of a weather. And for the first time, I realized what dryness is and why people are so finicky about dryness. So yes, consumption of oils inside and outside has gone up for me as well, quite high, because you cannot do without it. Otherwise, you just keep dealing with the dryness and changes your entire experience of the day. That feeling stays with you, which is very irritating.
and not to mention the heaters to stay warm acerbates the dryness as well. And let's not forget castor oil. That is such a healing oil. It's almost medicinal. So it seems, I don't know, it's people wouldn't expect that from me. They look to me for, what are all your products? And I am coming to the point when I feel women have been bombarded with an over selection, over too many choices of how to care for the skin, and I got caught up in that. And I tried it with all the steps and all the different companies, and, make sure you exfoliate and masks. And there are a lot of good, pure products out there, don't get me wrong. But our
Hmm.
skin has a natural barrier, which I feel can be stripped when we over cleanse
Absolutely.
our body, our face, and it can strip it of what it is trying to do. Is trying to create a healthy barrier, and our intentions are right. We want to have the best skin ever, but I think, need to be very discerning how we spend our money, what products we choose to buy, and I think simplifying is a very safe route to go. From my own experience, it has improved my skin completely. And I love that it's food quality.
Yes. No, I completely agree because when you were saying that, I think I've sailed in the same boat, tried everything that I can think of. One of the very known makeup brand. So I used to be very, skincare and makeup junkie at one point in time. So anything new. So one fine day I just went to the store and bought good amount of makeup products from a very known brand globally. I came back and tried that on my face. I tried some mascara on my eyes. I got an eye allergy. I tried some blush on my face. I got a cheek allergy. I tried some lip product, got a lip allergy. And you would not believe within 7 days, I threw all of it out. And this was before I started my own skincare brand. And then we, were delving more into Ayurveda, a way of taking care of yourself and develop my own formulations. And that had been such a game changer for me. And that point on, when I was researching and doing all of that stuff for my own skincare brand, it was such an eye opener. I stopped buying anything and everything from the outside. It was more focus on inside for sure. And on the outside, as you said, going simple and minimalistic, just knowing what works for you. And beyond that, you don't need anything.
Yes, it
Yes.
it 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 is enjoyable when you have a beautiful product and the packaging is lovely and it becomes a ritual, and it can be fun to think, "Oh, I'm treating myself to all these luxurious products."
Yeah.
But, not when you think, "Oh,
The
I'm getting."
reality is different for sure. Reality doesn't work like that.
Right.
So one
So,
more, that brings me to one more question. We're
yeah.
talking of outside skincare. Um, so, if you look at the latest trends, there's a lot of buzz around adaptogens as well, though it's like, adaptogens for the inside care for sure, like, taking those tulsi teas and ashwagandha and all of these products to bring down. So indirectly working on your skin by calming down your nervous system and, kind of helping your skin get that energy that it needs. And on the outside, there are a lot of brands which are talking about adaptogens in their skincare products. And what's your take on that? Do you think that's something that really works? On the inside, I'm sure it does. On the outside, again, I don't know. I mean, that's something that's still a point of research for me. But have you been on any kind of adaptogens ever, and how did it work for you?
I think adaptogens are a great idea, because what happens inside the body is that your body takes from it what it needs, hence the name. The product adapts to the body's need. And I love medicinal mushrooms like
Mhm,
reishi or lingji mushroom,
mhm.
because that is an adaptogen. So I ingest the powder. There are some skincare products that have the lingji mushroom in it. I've never tried those, but I think adaptogens, I like the whole concept that
Yeah.
it's kind of like a personalized product, and I find that appealing.
And it's adaptogens. If I'm not wrong, it's not a modern concept. In Ayurveda, if you see, there's a specific category of herbs which are already mentioned, which come under the category of adaptogens, which are only meant for this purpose only to neutralize the effects of stress that stress exerts on your body, on your nervous system. So it calms down your nervous system, and via
It,
that, it starts to create balance all across the body.
exactly. It's not a new concept. It has been around, and I like that as well. It's proven.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
works. Yes, since
Yeah.
many generations.
Great. Now, another topic around beauty that I would want to discuss again, which is not much spoken about, and in your industry, it's a big thing. We've spoken about, skin, hair, weight. We did not speak about posture, and nobody ever talks about posture and its importance for beauty. And it's in the modeling world, I think posture is equally as important as your skin, your hair, your body. So, what's your take on posture, or some tips around keeping your posture right that can really help your appearance become more attractive? How has it helped you in your industry?
it's posture has changed with the trends.
Yeah.
I have had a background in dance, and so I
Okay.
was taught correct posture. I also have been studying yoga since I was 10, and it helped with my scoliosis because of the alignment, keeping it balanced. And so as I
Mhm.
grew, the muscles around my spine became more straight, hence my scoliosis was nearly corrected. And
Mhm.
it was a very gentle scoliosis. And so I find that posture is a wonderful way to allow the body to breathe deeply, because there's the organs are properly placed. If you hunch over, you're crushing the organs, you're
Yeah.
collapsing your lungs. You cannot have that full intake of air. We need oxygen, obviously, but deep breaths, oxygenates the blood, which creates healthy blood, which creates a clearer mind. So that the benefits of deep breathing are manyfold, and you get it to deep breathing through correct posture. And with modeling, it would help to showcase the clothes well. And yet there are these trends, like there were a few years ago, trends where the models would collapse the chest and roll the shoulders forward and kind of look out from under their eyebrows, and that was
Yeah.
very trending. And
Hmm.
that was hard for me because I have been so trained,
Yeah.
to to show the beautiful sternum here and the shoulders
Yeah.
back, and then I had to purposely try to
Oh.
collapse.
Oh, do you mean that became a trend, just stooping your shoulders and getting into a specific form?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that was a
that's
trend a
nice
few
to know.
years
Interesting
ago.
to know. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not so much a
And
trend now.
I believe that's very anti our body's natural anatomy. I mean, our anatomy wants us to be straight upright, chest lifted up and your shoulders drop down. That's something that's your natural anatomy. Your body is like that to be able to function at its best.
To be able to function at its best. That's right. That's right. And it does take exercise or a discipline to strengthen the muscles if you're not used to it. And you might get a backache if you're not used to
Yeah.
standing up straight.
Mhm.
But posture is extremely important for your health, not so much for me, it's more for my health. I know it
Mhm.
helps with being a model to make the clothes look nice because you're showing them very well. But
Yeah.
for me, the priority is the better health and the better breath,
Yes.
and not crushing letting the organs work correctly without trying to
Yeah.
collapse or pinch them off from the blood flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, going back to something that's just mentioned before you started this conversation was you have been practicing yoga for almost since you were 10, right?
Yes.
How did yoga happen to you at that time when it was such, uh, I would say, secret modality? I mean, when you were 10, it was like those were the times when yoga wasn't even much popular in India as well. Only a selected few had the privilege of being into that space. So, how did it happen to you?
Well, God bless my mother. She was the
Mhm.
one who
Yeah.
found it
Well,
and was practicing it, and it intrigued me. So I started
mhm.
to copy her, and I never stopped. I just continued because it gave me relief from the spasms I was having in my back, which
Yeah.
were pretty bad at that age. So I was sold. That was it. I just haven't stopped. And I remember I tried to teach my girlfriends. I had them come
Mhm.
over, and I had them pay me a dime for a yoga
Okay.
class. But at 10
Nice.
years old, everybody was so young and limber, they weren't that interested. They thought, what's the big deal? But even back then, I was trying to tell people how great it is. I still do. I think it's an amazing practice.
So, what does your yoga practice look like now? Because after a certain age, your body has certain limitations.
Yes.
And as it's mentioned in the traditional yoga texts also, like, there are three different stages, and according to that, your yoga practice must change and you should look at yoga from the health perspective, not from from the physical appeal perspective. So, how does your yoga practice has evolved over years to be what it is right now?
Hmm. Well, when I was younger, I was doing a lot more complicated poses because I could. I just had
Mhm.
the vitality and strength of a 30-year-old, which I just don't
Mhm.
now. but I adapted, just like with everything in life. You adapt. You realize this is a change, and I'm going to honor my body, and I have the discipline to do it every day. And I find that the most rewarding type of practice is more restorative, and the calmer I am, the meaning the longer I hold a pose, the more beneficial it is, not only for my body but for my mind. Like the triangle pose, which I'm sure a lot of
Mhm.
listeners are familiar
Yeah.
with, the triangle pose. I will hold that, and as you can imagine, I must tell you, I can get into it. I don't find it stressful now because I've been doing it for
Mhm.
so many decades. It's kind of a natural thing for me to just dip over to the side and hold the
Mhm.
triangle pose. But now what I'll do is I'll look at the world from that angle, and I rest in that sensation of holding the triangle and looking at the world from that pose. And it's hard to describe or find the words, but it's a new way of approaching
That's
yoga.
a beautiful perspective. Yes.
So
Mhm.
that's how my yoga practice has changed. I will hold the pose and observe the world around me in that pose. So the
Wow.
pose becomes a kind of an existence unto itself for me to explore.
Yeah.
And I I used to listen to my breath, and that was a good way to relax and go in and out, just focusing your mind on the breath and to also quiet the mind. But now it's changed into, let's observe the world, because I'm relaxed enough, and
Mhm.
I've put the focus there on the observation from a different perspective. And I find that very relaxing as well, almost entertaining, but it's mind opening what can be revealed from being curious about your world from a different perspective.
True. That's nice. So, like for your yoga, practice, I mean, you've learned as a part of teacher's training, or you just attended going to different yoga studios and grasping the essence of yoga. How deep has been your yoga practice? And did you, by any chance, ever get a chance to visit to India as well, the homeland of yoga?
I've been to India 5 times, but it was for personal
Oh,
vacation. It
that's
was never
amazing.
to be at an ashram or be with a guru.
Which part
uh,
in India you had been to?
Pardon me.
Which part of India you had been to?
Goa and Kerala and
Uh-huh.
Bombay.
Amazing places. More on the south, towards the south side of India.
The south side, exactly.
Mhm.
I studied 10 years with Richard Freeman.
Oh, that's
Yes,
amazing to know that.
so that went very deep. 10 years he was my
More of
teacher.
Ashtanga practice?
Ashtanga, yes, exactly.
Oh,
Yes,
you've
so
been through the toughest form of yoga that
I didn't
we can
know
think
at the
of.
time it was the toughest.
I know. But it's rewarding, I must say. It's rewarding. It's a different kind of release that you feel with that practice.
Yes, yes, and I enjoyed hatha yoga very much as a
Mhm.
balance, because you would hold the poses longer.
Absolutely.
Yes, and over the years, I have gone to many conferences and retreats, and I am certified, and I have been a private yoga teacher, and I was teaching here
Wow.
also at the sports club, and it's fun. I enjoy teaching what I know, and the other thing about yoga now at an older age is I'm finding my balance just is surprisingly, sometimes it all just be out of balance, and it's like, wait a minute, I've done this pose
Yeah,
my whole life. Why did I just lose my balance?
right.
I know this pose. And so that's another thing to adapt to. Slowing down, making sure I might have a wall next to me if I need it, or when I stand up, if my head was lower than my heart, giving myself time to let the blood drain. So it's a slower pace,
Mhm.
not slow itself, but just slower than what I have been used to. So
Mhm.
it's adapting, and it's, if you keep a sense of curiosity with what your body is feeling, it keeps life interesting, and it keeps you,
Absolutely.
yeah, it keeps you interested in living, because there's always something new to find out and discover about yourself.
Absolutely. Right. And you are also an author of a book that you launched recently, right? Which happened about a year back or something. So, what is the book all about? Like the title sounds quite intimidating. It's more than a pretty face. And so, what do the listeners expect out of the book that you're offering? Is it your life experience about um, experiences with the modeling world, or your beauty, or the struggles in the industry? What exactly the book is all about?
The book
The book.
was created because I noticed women were asking me kind of the same questions. So I thought,
Okay,
I,
that was a
I
good idea.
yeah, they
Yeah.
can ask me, but what about the women that have the same questions but can't ask me? So
Yeah.
I put together a book that has um, some stories about my life as a model, as a child,
Mhm.
as a mother, as a woman searching for her spirituality. And I gave lessons that I learned out of each of those sections of my life so that the reader can come away with a sense of, oh, that's an interesting way to approach that. Maybe I can try it. Or she
Mhm.
made that mistake. Maybe I can learn not to do that mistake myself. So there
Yeah.
are 25 tips there on how to be beautifully strong. There are throughout the book 5-minute resets for the reader to just like get centered, get clear, get calm. I wanted the book to be kind of like a self-help book where
Mhm.
they get an insight into the modeling world and all the challenges that come with it, because it's not as
Mhm.
glamorous as you might think. But I wanted them
Mhm.
to relate to it by thinking, I can apply that to my own life and learn.
Yeah.
Um, so I think the title, more than just a pretty face, well, women generally, mostly always, are
Mhm.
beautiful. So what is it behind the face? We're so much more than
Yes,
what we present.
absolutely.
As women, we have so much depth. How can we get into that depth and bring it out? How can we radiate the inner beauty? We're more than just our faces.
Yes,
So
definitely, definitely. What
yeah.
shows is I think that's just a veil. Everything is coming from the back. That energy is exuding everything on the outside.
Absolutely. That's right. We are energetic beings. So I also wanted that focus to be more on the inside, because I think that's where, as women, we have our strength. We have a womb for creation. This is where we absorb energy and we can give
Yeah.
it out. And we are beautiful creatures. If we look inward and tap into that radiance, it really is dormant, just waiting for our attention. Yeah.
Great. I'm all motivated for the day. I mean, your energy is so uplifting, I must say.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So, okay. So we are just at the end of our session, Roxane, and my last question is all up to you. Anything that you would want to add on that I did not ask in the area of beauty, self-care that you would want women to know from your own experiences?
I think now is the time for us women. I think the more we find the answers within, the more we can make a positive change for this world and bring her back to balance. We are powerhouses if we allow ourselves the expression of our own authenticity and not look outward for answers, but look inward for answers, because then you can contribute to the world. We need every woman to contribute because we need to bring balance back to this world.
That's so
Everyone
beautiful.
is important.
Thank you so much. That was so beautiful, Roxane.
Thank, thank you
And I
for
think,
asking.
yeah, yeah, no, thank you for coming over and sharing such lovely inputs, from all perspectives. And so for the listeners who would want to know more about Roxane, the links of Roxane's website and her social links are all mentioned on the description, along with wherever the podcast is hosted. So thank you so much, Roxane, for being here. And maybe sometime again, I look forward to having some more inputs from you.
That'd be
Okay,
wonderful. Thank you. It was so
perfect.
enjoyable.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for the
Thank you so
opportunity.
much. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.